down right as he got to the 15-yard line. And Gordine, the two tackles, make the play. Tennessee hands it off to Wright again, fighting and breaks a tackle to the 30, to the 40. It's a foot race, midfield, to the 40, to the 30. They'll never catch him.
He's out of here.
Crank up Rocky Top, touchdown Tennessee. Jalen Wright goes 82 yards.
Yeah, good hole on the left side. Cooper Mays, I lane.
First down, Tennessee at the 40. Milton back to pass.
There he is.
Winds up wide open down at the 20, and he's got it to the 10, to the checkerboards. Touchdown, Ramel Keaton. 60 yards on the throw from Joe Milton. So second and goal, Tennessee at the Yukon 6. Option, near side. Milton cuts it up into the checkerboards. Touchdown, Tennessee. Joe Milton running the option to the left, decides to keep it, turns it up, dashes in for a score in the fourth quarter.
They just couldn't bring him down.
No, running and catching. Milton play fake, looks long, fires over the middle. Squirrel White's got it at the 40.
He's got some jets.
To the 40, turns it on to the 30, to the 20,
Gone.
all the way to the checkerboards. Touchdown, 83 yards. Squirrel White came over the middle, and Joe Milton right on target again. In the second quarter, Roberson back to throw. Little quick slant to the left side to Porter, but he's thrown down. Lost the ball. It's picked up by Tennessee. Running toward the end zone is going to be Tyler Barron for a Tennessee touchdown. A scoop and score by Tyler Barron. Tennessee with a four-man front. And Roberson drops to throw. Tennessee blitzing the throw it over the middle. It's intercepted by Jalen McCullough at the 25 to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Tennessee. Play number one, the interception. Jalen McCullough picked it off at the 30 and raced in for a Tennessee touchdown. Five-man front for Tennessee. Roberson back to throw. Pressured off his back foot. That's intercepted, and that's going to be intercepted for Tennessee as Aaron Beasley picks it off, and he runs toward the pylon. And touchdown, Tennessee. 37 yards. Aaron Beasley picks off the pass and rumbles 37 yards. Tennessee's second pick six of this third quarter. Castle's a wingback to the left.
In the arms of an angel. We're reminiscing on the good times here on the Squidtard channel. I don't know the lyrics of that song, but here we are. Okay, let's go ahead and waste no more time and get into it, fellas. So, oi, fellow comrades, it is Squidtard here along with your boy Lucas Sharp and Mr. Julio Rodriguez back with another episode of the Vols Star Podcast. We do this episode, at least for now, officially every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We did it a little late because your boy Squidtard had to apply for classes. Could have put that off because that would be a very bad thing and a very non-responsible thing to do, and I don't like to be irresponsible. So here we are, and I'm sure the feelings are mutual around the Vol community. But, boy, is it a very, very bad week to be a Tennessee fan, fellas. Very, very bad showing by the Tennessee Vols football team against Mizzou. We'll have plenty of time to talk about it. We'll have plenty of time to talk about the loss, what went wrong. And in other news, currently, right now, the Lady Vols are in overtime against the Memphis Tigers. So we got our boy Lucas Sharp on speed dial if we need to see what's going on in that game. Right now, it's tied up at 73, correct?
Yeah, it's 73.
All right. Well, good news. We could very well still win that game. We got a lot to talk about. Of course, we'll talk about college football, give our thoughts on that, everything else in between, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. And furthermore, we do have a very special guest for tonight's show who just pulled into the little StreamYard that I've got going. So we are. Just a reminder to you in the back room, we are live, so just thought you'd know that. But anyway, let me go ahead and introduce you, boy. Y'all know him all too well. I have a feeling that most of you know him. He's been in a lot of my videos in the past. If you know my main channel, you absolutely know who he is. Been doing a lot of live streams with him, and he's a big-time UGA Bulldog fan. That's right, we got a Georgia fan here tonight for the Tennessee-Georgia game coming up this Saturday, or in other words, public execution in Neyland Stadium. Anyway, with all that being said, let me introduce for another time Squidtard's Evil Twin. What's going on, Mr. Evil Twin, sir?
Yo, what's up? It's been a minute.
It has been a minute, I would have to say so. Well, I would like to go ahead and congratulate you on beating Tennessee for the 6-something year in a row. And finishing out 12-0 in the 2023 season.
You gotta hold out faith, man. You gotta keep the faith.
Right.
What? No. Yeah, the faith of us making the Gator Bowl.
Right. I'm sure Georgia fans can agree with us on this, but the Georgia-Tennessee game and, all the days leading up to the game, it's much more fun for both of us if both teams are undefeated and are both playing for a championship, because both fan bases are already just annoying as is, and when both of them are undefeated, man, it is just absolute insanity. So to see the Tennessee fans down like this, I'm sure makes the Georgia fans upset. They'd rather put us down themselves, but that's how the world works. And when one team is the defending national champions and one can't get a first down, this is the result that you get. But we'll hold out hope, as you say, and hope for the best in the future. So yeah.
I mean, they play the games for a reason, so.
Correct.
Hey, at least it's at home.
Also,
we play good at home. We also play good at home, so maybe it might not be too bad.
Correct. I would like to remind everybody that Tennessee currently has a 15-game winning streak at home. The last time we lost at home was, ironically enough, to Georgia. So whether that they'll continue that streak or be able to continue ours is an uncertainty, but we'll see how it plays out. Janine Senti,
You never know.
Yeah, really never know. Janine Senti in the live chat says, "What happened to Tennessee? Knock, knock. Who's there? Jeremy Pruitt. Who Jeremy Pruitt? Who's coaching the friggin' team? F Tennessee." Well, it's obvious that Janine has a lot of hope for the Vols.
Huge Tennessee fan there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I heard there was a bunch of people comparing Heupel to Pruitt, which I don't get. Like, Pruitt would have got smashed a lot more this season than what Heupel did.
Yeah, if Pruitt were playing this season, or if Pruitt were coaching this season, I guarantee you we'd be sitting here talking about all the ways we could possibly beat Vandy. But luckily that's an afterthought, as Vandy's still looking for that first SEC win of the season. We'll see how that plays out for him. I don't think it'll play out too well. They're 2-9 right now, and you already know who their next opponent is. We'll have plenty of time to talk about them next week. But before we get to, of course, the main topic at hand, talking about Week 11 and everything like that, and everything that's followed today, just today, there is a couple of things that I do find pretty interesting. Of course, we got to talk about Tennessee basketball. Man, specifically the men's basketball team. They knocked off Wisconsin a few days ago, won 80-70. They've got a phenomenal level offense going. Lucas, why don't you tell us all about how the basketball team's doing?
In case you don't know, for our basketball team, for especially for Rick Barnes' coach teams, we've been able to have really good defenses, but offenses that haven't been really able to score. But now, especially since we picked up Jordan Gainey and Dalton Connect out of the transfer portal, our offense has now been starting to click. Dalton Connect, like my username says, Dalton Connect is him. The dude is an absolute machine. All he can do is literally score. He can do it all. He can make 3-pointers. He can take it to the rim and score, and he can pass on you. And also, he plays some pretty good defense as well. So, yeah, I feel like Dalton Connect is what this team has been missing for quite a while. And also Jordan Gainey, because Jordan Gainey also he can hit threes from anywhere. Jordan Gainey can. And right now, Zakai Ziegler, who of course has been known for being our best player. Of course, he's recovered from his injury, but he's still a little bit rusty. Of course, since his injury, but I feel like when Zakai Ziegler and Santiago Vescovi, when they get in the groove, I feel like the sky's the limit for this team. I feel like this team, if they want to make the Final Four, this has got to be the year they finally do it, because I truly believe this is the best team that Rick Barnes has had. and you could say you say that every year. I truly believe that this, honestly, because this is the best offense I feel like that Tennessee has had in basketball in years.
Oh yeah, for sure. For funsies, I went and checked out how the Georgia basketball team's doing, seeing how we have a Georgia fan.
Okay, hold on there. Let's slow down. We're not. No.
Okay, look. Good news is they aren't as bad as you think. The bad news is, well, they aren't undefeated. So, I mean, their only loss is to Oregon. So, like, take from that what you will. And they actually play top 15 Miami on Friday.
Which Miami is struggling to FIU.
Yeah. And y'all play them in Georgia, so, I mean, you never know what could happen there. Maybe Georgia is significantly improved over the course of the offseason. But right now, at least as it stands now, Tennessee, we were playing Georgia in basketball, but unfortunately that ain't the case. We'll get our chance in a little while. We'll figure how that plays out. All right. Anyway, so yeah, basketball team is playing really well. They play Wofford tomorrow. I'm expecting a beatdown of the century. Julio, you got any thoughts on this basketball team?
I think Lucas kind of touched everything I would touch on, really. Especially with the offense. I feel like that's the one thing that's held, Rick Barnes' teams back for the most part.
Fair enough. All right, so we got to talk about this. So there isn't much to touch on in Week 11 other than the fact that we suck. We got, our crap pushed in by Missouri. And I'm not going to touch on all of my thoughts. I made a full 30-minute video about everything that touches the game and everything like that. But before, we'll have plenty of time to talk about Tennessee specifically. But, of course, the big news for this week, not even the games themselves, but the fact that the coaching carousel is finally, it looks like it's finally moving in motion with the big piece being put on the table. Jimbo Fisher over at Texas A&M, after a win, no less, has been canned. It was a big question whether or not they were going to pay that 70-something million buyout, and it looks like yes is the answer to that. They fired Jimbo Fisher, and of course there are a lot of names on the table for this coaching job because Texas A&M is a very good job in terms of payout, and
they're made of money.
Really, any coach I think would love to play there. It's just a matter of who is going to take the initiative and who A&M is going to call to jump in and take that coaching spot. You guys got any names?
I would say Mike Elko at Duke. Let's see, Dan Lanning, but I think he'll probably stay at Oregon for now.
I'd probably say Mike Elko is probably the top candidate.
I would think so. Consider he's a former defensive coordinator. I was trying to think of other coaches, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm trying to think, but I'm drawing a blank right now.
What makes this so difficult for Texas A&M's sake is that unlike most other teams, all with the exception of like Deion Sanders and Colorado maybe, this entire team is built off of transfers and NIL deals. And once a new coach comes to the system, I've got a good feeling that we're going to see a mass exodus like we saw in 2022 with Texas A&M's team, and a bunch of those players are going to go hit that portal. So it's going to be like, what am I thinking of? Like the pot of gold. And all these different teams, once all these players hit the portal, are going to be digging in trying to pick up these players. And you best guarantee that Tennessee ought to pick up some if they end up hitting that portal. I
think one coach I would try to get if I was them might be Kalen DeBoer, but I think he might stay at Washington, considering I think he's a West Coast guy.
Yeah, probably. There isn't a lot of options. I've heard that Lane Kiffin is gonna, jump ship and head to Texas.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised like Jamie Chadwell hasn't taken a Power 5 job yet.
Ooh.
Jamie Chadwell is very religious, and he's at Liberty. He might have found his perfect landing spot until he gets the job he wants.
Right. Now, what I do.
I was going to say Jet Fish is also a candidate, but he's also a West Coast guy, and he's at Arizona. Surprisingly, Arizona ain't they like 6-3, 7-3, something like that?
They're 7-3. They're actually pretty good this year.
Yeah.
They're on a pretty big. Actually, no, I think they lost their last game, but they were on a winning streak. Now, what makes this Jimbo Fisher situation so interesting is that, of course, with him being fired, it set all of the cards in motion, and now a bunch of these coaches are getting sent through the chopping block. Zach Arnett getting fired from Mississippi State has to be one of the most shocking fires I've seen in a long time. He took over from Mike Leach, and of course, most of us expected that Mississippi State would take a big step back. Although I did not expect, with the little time that he's been given, for him to be kicked out this early. This is coming as a big shock to me. So now the question stands: who's going to come in and take over that Mississippi State job? And I've heard that one of these guys is getting ready to jump in and take that job. Dan Mullen is coming back to Mississippi State, or Will Muschamp.
Oh my god.
The SEC is just a fucking
Muschamp Monday, I guess.
Yeah, I guess Mississippi State wants to suck.
Yeah, but thankfully, I don't think they choose that. I don't think they'll do that, but I don't know. Who am I to know?
I mean, Dan Mullen. I think he was like at a perfect spot with Mississippi State. He probably should have just stayed there since he didn't like recruiting, considering he still, had pretty good seasons there.
Yeah, I can't really, it's obvious that Dan Mullen can't really recruit, but I think he could, at least be a decent coach. But I don't know. We'll see.
I was gonna say this, but like the way I feel about Mississippi State is the way I feel about Kentucky, where it's like it's a pretty good job. Like I think as long as you win, about 6 games every year, you'll be fine. But then you just got to pop off every couple years and win 8 to 10 games.
Right.
And then, they'll fucking worship you.
Well, in Kentucky's sake, that is absolutely what they mean. Kentucky never made number one in the playoff poll, though. Don't forget that.
I know. I was just saying that, like, I just feel like they're kind of just in the same position almost.
Fair enough, yeah. And playing in the SEC West, never easy. Speaking of the SEC West, this hasn't been made official yet, but I've been hearing rumors that Sam Pittman from Arkansas is also getting ready to be put on the chopping block. That isn't confirmed yet, as I've said, and it's possible that we could look back on this a week later and find out that Sam Pittman's just fine, but it's looking like, if it does turn out to be true, that the SEC West is going to be very, very interesting to watch, because that's 3 coaching jobs in the hardest division in all of college football. So I'm really interested to see how that plays out, and it's going to make the coaching carousel very, very fun to watch. So
the thing is, though, I feel like the thing that made Arkansas' season a lot worse was missing Rocket Sanders for that long.
Oh, yeah.
Because he was like the main engine of that offense. And I feel like they could easily probably won at least 7 games had he been there.
Right. And, well, as it stands now, the only other big piece in terms of firing coaches, of course, Boise State fired their head coach. And then Mike Yurcich, the offensive coordinator for Penn State, got kicked. And I guess that isn't the most surprising thing, but is it just a thing now that Penn State just cannot win a big game? Can we just confirm that at this point?
Yeah. It don't matter how good they get, they'll never be as good as Ohio State or Michigan.
10-2 State.
Right, I guess so.
Back at it again.
Like they play Penn State, goes up against anybody in the country and just outright dominates them. And then you think, oh wow, Penn State's the greatest team ever. They go up against Ohio State or Michigan. That's not what he wanted to cook. They just suddenly look like they just crapped themselves, and it's just it's a disaster going on over there.
Yeah, one of my Penn State friends on Twitter called them 10-2 State. Because they're perpetually 10-2.
That's pretty accurate. Hey, next year though, they don't play. I don't think they play Michigan. So, does that mean they'll go 11-1? I don't know. Because
maybe
they're trading Michigan for Oregon or Washington or somebody else like that. So knowing how this plays out, I think it's still going to be 10-2. They're just going to lose to probably one or both of those teams.
I mean, considering they're expanding the playoffs to 12 teams next year.
Oh yeah, no, it's like a Penn State dream, because now they can get into the playoffs almost every single year, just to lose in the first round.
I got a question. Do y'all think Washington is actually better than Oregon? I feel like the reason Washington won that game a couple weeks ago because it was at home.
I mean, as of late, I feel like
they're
Oregon.
equal.
I feel like as of late, Oregon has been playing better.
I think I think Oregon is the better team, but the better team doesn't always win, and that was the case with Washington and Oregon. I think Oregon's playing better, like Lucas said, and it's going to make that Pac-12 championship really interesting because I imagine that Oregon and Washington are probably going to win out. I say probably because there are some pretty interesting matchups coming up.
If Oregon wins, do you think they go top 4?
It depends. I would probably think they'd probably go top 4.
12
like in a battle for the 4th spot, do you think they'd
So 12-1 Oregon, I think they'd get in because
they're the best one-loss team.
What are they ranked right now? Number 6.
Yeah.
So they beat Washington, so they'd be ranked number 5, and they'd get that 4th spot anyway. Because
let's say if Bama beats Georgia or whatever.
If Bama
beats Georgia, well,
that could be very bad for Georgia then because you're.
But what if Texas finishes 12-1? Because Texas would then get in over Bama.
That too.
So you'd have 5 12-1 conference champions. That would.
God, that'd be fucking chaos.
I don't think that's gonna happen, but that would be something.
If that happens, then I feel like there's a slight possibility the SEC could miss out in the playoff this year.
Well, it would all have to lean on resume, and I think even Texas, as you said, did beat Alabama, so that definitely favors them more. Oregon would have a win over Washington, and
avenging their only loss by 3 points,
as well as a slate of wins against top 25 teams. So they'd probably be in. I think what would happen, I think the conference that would get screwed in this scenario would be the Big Ten. Because I'm thinking that if, say this happens, Michigan goes undefeated, wins out, they're 13-0, but this is the only way I see it going down. This is the smartest way I could see it going down is that they put out Michigan because of all the crap that happened with them and Jim Harbaugh and everything like that. Even if they're undefeated, it's wild, absolutely wild. But honestly, if we're not including that, I think it could be the ACC because out of all those teams, and if Florida State finishes. No, Florida State's still undefeated. That's right.
Yeah, Florida State will win out. They're not losing to Louisville.
Like I said, Michigan and Florida State are probably locks at this point, looking at their schedules.
Yeah.
Well, except for maybe Michigan, because they could lose to Ohio State. So maybe not them, but really the only lock is probably Florida State.
Well, yeah, I think either Michigan or Ohio State is a lock-in for the playoffs because whoever wins that game, I think, is just going to win out the rest of the way. I don't really see a scenario where they lose to someone else.
Unless Iowa pulls off the dumbest shit ever and beats one of them in the Big Ten.
There's a better chance that I win the lottery tomorrow than Iowa has of beating either Ohio State or Michigan.
Yeah, or a better chance of Tennessee beating Georgia with Joe Milton. Because it's definitely going to make a lot of these bigger matchups and specifically the conference championships a lot more interesting because of that. And if you have 5 teams that are sitting there with either, no losses or 1 loss, who do you leave out? And it's definitely going to make somebody angry. That's for sure. Whichever one gets screwed. All right. Well, let's move on here. So I did want to cover and talk about some of these. What is it? We're on week 12. Can you believe that, guys? Week 12.
Yep. Season's gone by so fast.
We got 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks of the regular season before we get to conference championships. That's unreal. It definitely tells you a lot about the position we're in, doesn't it? Something else is I'm not used to it being this late in the season playing Georgia. I'll say that much because we all know this. We're all used to playing Georgia either at the midpoint of the season or last year we played them in early November. This is definitely the latest that we've played Georgia. Yeah.
I'm usually used to like the schedule being like Florida and then Georgia and then Alabama.
And that definitely favors us more than it does anybody else because that slate is just we're playing our 3 biggest rivals who are most of the time the 3 best teams on our schedule back to back to back. So to finally get a break from that has been we've got to thank Auburn for that because Auburn
because Auburn didn't want to play Georgia and Bama back-to-back weeks.
And honestly, it did more for us than it did to Auburn because all it did was just make it to where Auburn has to play LSU later in the season. So
yeah,
it's kind of funny when you think about it because all it did was screw them over. It doesn't give them any sort of favoritism, or maybe it does. I don't know.
Speaking of LSU, who do y'all got winning the Heisman?
Oh yeah, that is something. It should be Jaden Daniels. I do think it should be Jaden Daniels, but because of LSU's record and the fact that the Heisman is more of a team achievement than it is an individual award, something tells me it's going to be either Michael Penix or Bo Nix.
I've heard some people believe it should be Marvin Harrison.
I mean, he's definitely really good, but I don't think he's made so much of an impact as to where he wins the Heisman as a wide receiver. Because the only other one I can think, the only guy who's won a Heisman as a wide receiver has been Devontae Smith. And I mean, he was so good that he literally had record-breaking stats every single day.
That's not the only wide
Desmond
receiver.
Howard.
I didn't say that it was
Desmond
the only
Howard.
one, but the only one in recent history.
There's another one too, which is Tim Brown, former Notre Dame wide receiver.
What year was that?
Like the 80s.
Right, recent history. So, yeah, but I get what you're saying. I think it should be Jaden Daniels. That performance he put up against Florida kind of proves that, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, the only reason I remember that is because I remember watching I had a Super Bowl, like the documentary that went over like all the Super Bowls at one point, and I remember whenever they were talking about the Raiders in the Super Bowl, on one of their teams they had Marcus Allen in the backfield and then Tim Brown at wide receiver, so they had 2 Heisman winners on offense.
Right. Yeah, no, that was a pretty neat stuff there. I forgot to check on the comments. I need to do that real quick. What's up, Michigan man? I was high on Tennessee in the offseason. Most of us were. And seeing as you're a Michigan man, that's actually really surprising that you of all people were high on Tennessee because, you saw Joe Milton for yourself. So, to be a Michigan man and be high on Tennessee, regardless of the fact that Milton was our starting quarterback, I think that's very, very interesting. But it seems all the Michigan doubters are proven right about Joe Milton. What's up, Traveling Fools? Glad you got to jump in on here real quick. Michigan man's still a good team, but definitely not as great as I expected, unfortunately. Great, good team. 8-4. Okay, guys, let's talk about some of these week. What is it? Yeah, week 12. Week 12. We're only got 2 more weeks of the regular season.
Yeah, that's insane.
All right. We're only going to cover the most, at least the important games. I'm not going to go into too much depth about all the other ones because I get to do that anyway in my pick'ems.
Yeah.
All right, so, yeah. There isn't much going on throughout the earlier points of the week. Colorado playing another nighttime Friday game. Man, what a barn burner that is. You'd think with how good both of these teams started out, this would have been a much more interesting game, but it's not. Both teams are sitting at 1-6 in the Pac-12, 4-6 overall. Yeesh. We all have winning that one.
So I'm guessing winner of this will probably make a bowl game.
I mean, Colorado, I think they play.
Washington State, they have to play Washington.
So yeah. But,
I was gonna say, crazy thing to think about. Washington State was like almost a top 10 team at one point a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Remember, they were like 13.
Yeah, no, they had a couple of big wins to start out, and then like everything fell apart. And like, because you lose 44-6 to Arizona. I mean, there ain't no coming back from that, especially when you do it at home. Yeah. So, who do y'all have winning this one, though? Out of curiosity.
I'll probably go with Colorado and Shadell Sanders.
Shadur, I'll go Shadur in Colorado.
Oh, I'm Evil Twin. I'm going to go with Washington State. Yeah, good choice, Evil Twin. I'm picking Washington State as well. All right. Yeah, Michigan, Maryland. I've heard this is kind of a trap game for Michigan.
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 Yeah, that I would think so. Even though it's like niche between the Penn State and Ohio State game, but I'm picking Michigan. I think we're all in agreement on that. People thought they were going to fall off the map when Jim Harbaugh was announced he wasn't going to be on the sideline. It was like the wheels are falling off for Michigan, then they come out and beat Penn State. Yeah, no.
That motivated the players more.
All they got to do is just run it down people's throats for the most part.
Also, Chattanooga's beating Alabama. We're all in agreement on that.
Yes, of course.
Oh,
yeah.
The mocks.
Hey, there's 7.
The mocks are real.
Yeah, Terrell Owens' alma mater, Chattanooga.
Whee! What a day. What a day for him. All right. The Rutgers and Penn State. That's an interesting one.
Penn State 10-2. You.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll take Penn State, but I mean Rutgers ain't bad.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, no, Rutgers has definitely improved. I think this game's actually close. I think it's a lot like the Penn State-Indiana game, but Penn State eventually pulls away just because of the talent gap. So, yeah, give me the fighting James Franklins. Vanderbilt really wants him back. Louisville and Miami. Miami fought Florida State really well last week. They're 6-4. Louisville, of course, only one loss, looking like they're a tie-in for the ACC championship if they win this game. So, now Louisville's only coming in as a 1-point favorite. So, this has potential to be a big upset. What do y'all think's gonna happen here?
Nah, give me Louisville.
Give me Louisville too.
He's doing the thing. He's doing the U down. The U is down. Look at this. Do it again.
Do it again.
Yeah.
No, but I remember
he's doing the thing. He's doing the thing.
I remember Miami fans coming into my spaces and telling me they're going to go 10-2, 11-1, and I said you're probably going to go 7-5.
So much for that, huh?
And they called me crazy. And look at what they're more likely going to end up as 7-5.
Dirt. Yeah.
I said 7-5, 8-4, and they crucified me for saying that.
No.
Yeah. All right. Before we move on, Hudson Dean says Josh Heupel hasn't had a losing record yet at Tennessee in 3 years. That's impressive regarding what we've had. Oh, definitely. I mean, we look at what he started out with. I mean, I'm not discrediting Josh Heupel and the job that he's done overall here at Tennessee, even though last week did happen, but things need to change pretty quickly, and I think they will because next week it's Nico time. All right. Anyway, let's see. There isn't much.
Oh wait! You skipped past undefeated Liberty.
Well, look at who they're playing.
Oh damn! You think maybe UMass could pull the upset of 10-0 Liberty?
No, dude. Liberty has like the easiest schedule in all of college football.
Yeah.
They're gonna beat their chest.
Well, that's why they're unranked. Yeah, you're gonna have to hear about
Yeah.
them like the UCF and all that. But anyway, yeah.
James Madison's also undefeated too.
Right, and there's
But-
also
Free
unranked.
James Madison. Free James Madison.
Although, yeah, I do agree they should be able to play in a bowl. We need to have if James Madison and Liberty both finish undefeated, we need to have them play each other in a bowl game. That's what I want to see. See how that goes. Which one remains undefeated? But anyway, moving on here.
And then the winner plays Georgia, or whoever wins
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
or whoever
Well, that seems-
wins
I
the
mean,
college
yeah.
football
let's
championship.
be honest here. James Madison versus Liberty, winner plays Georgia. Either way, Georgia's losing that game. I mean,
yeah. Speaking,
I'm joking, but-
speaking of James Madison versus Georgia, did y'all see the national championship last year? When Georgia
Yeah.
played TCU.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
that's what
that's-
James Madison
that's-
would do to Georgia.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. Anyway, moving on here. 2:30 kickoff on this one. Utah and Arizona. Big upset alert for Utah, I think. Arizona is actually the favorite here. So this isn't really an upset. It would be an upset if Arizona. Expect for the spread to kind of linger on this one. Maybe even tomorrow. Maybe Utah by 2 days from now. We have no idea. But who do y'all have winning this game?
I'll take Arizona mostly because Utah's offense is not that good. Plus, it's Arizona home game.
Yeah, give me Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona's been the much more impressive
Crazy.
team.
Crazy thing, Arizona could win 10 games, which is kind of crazy considering how fucking ass they were
Oh,
just
yeah.
like a year.
Yeah, they'd
two
have to
ago.
win out though. But yeah, it's very plausible at this point. All right. Let's see. Yeah, we'll come back to that one. Why are we still ranked 13th? I don't know. We get to come back on that one. All right. North Carolina ranked number 24, sitting at 8-2. Really, at this point, there are not many aspirations left to make the ACC championship, but they still can finish out 10-2. And then, of course, they play Clemson in Death Valley. Clemson coming in as 6.5-point favorites. They beat the ever-living will to live out of Georgia Tech last week. So, y'all think Clemson's going to continue that reign of dominance, or is North Carolina going to give them another L?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Clemson on this one, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. After I jinxed North Carolina season, I gotta take Clemson.
Not so fast, my friend. Give me North Carolina. I think the Tar Heels, North Carolina overall has had the better offense. And going up against Clemson, I think it'll be a really close game. But I just think eventually North Carolina is going to jump over Clemson in terms of offensive productivity, and they'll get the win. Even if it is at Death Valley. That's my upset pick of the week. We'll see how that plays out. All right.
Mighty Sam Houston State on a 2-game winning streak.
All right. UCLA and USC. USC coming in as a 7-point favorite at home against UCLA. I thought this game was going to be a lot more important, if that's the word I should use. Who do y'all have winning this one?
I still can't believe USC is 7-4 with Caleb Williams.
It's because their defense is not any good.
Could you imagine if Tennessee had Caleb Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could imagine we'd be like the. I don't know if we'd be the team to beat in the SEC, but we'd be better than way
we'd
better
be one
than
of
we
them.
were.
We'd be undefeated.
Yeah, we would have definitely beaten freaking Florida.
Well,
we would have beaten Bama.
We would have had more than 4 plays. Anyway.
Anyway, sorry about that. I just had to say that.
It's a good point though. Anyway, yeah, I guess we're all in agreement on USC getting the win here.
Yeah. Give me USC.
It's a great Caleb Williams send-out game because this will likely be his last game of his college career. I don't think
Yeah, and he'll probably give USC the big middle finger before he goes to the NFL.
Well, you don't think Caleb Williams is going to play in the Las Vegas Bowl?
No.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
He's gonna give USC the big middle finger before he goes to the NFL.
You don't think he wants to play in the Meineke Care Car Bowl?
Care car, not car care.
Yeah, Car Care Bowl, I guess.
Yeah.
Care Car.
Care car. Yeah, the Care Car Bowl.
Yeah, he don't want to play in the Birmingham Bowl or the freaking Glad Trash Bags
Yeah,
Bowl.
didn't they play in the Cheez-It Bowl? They could play in it again. Yeah, yeah, anyway, USC, go get that win, I guess. Yeah, see, so Ohio State is definitely going to finish out undefeated up till the Michigan game because they play Minnesota at home. I guess we're all in agreement here that they're going to get the dub.
I jinxed another undefeated team with Air Force.
The Air Force really fell off. They were 8-1,
Yeah.
now they're 8-2. Wow.
Poor Air Force.
Womp, 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 womp.
You know what? I think Ohio State's going to beat Minnesota. I'm going to see if my jinx will work.
Yeah.
We'll see
And
how that goes.
just for that, give me Minnesota.
Anyway, Oklahoma State and Houston. Normally this one wouldn't be important, but Oklahoma State just did come off a literal absolute destruction against South Florida on the road. So you think Oklahoma State will wake up, or are they going to take another L?
I'm going to go with Oklahoma State. Houston, pretty bad this year.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, give me Oklahoma State. I think they'll get the dub there. All right. Yeah, we can skip that one. Ooh.
Oh, dang. No, Florida State's got a juggernaut coming to town.
Oh, yeah, they're definitely losing that game.
North Alabama, baby. Don't you mess around with them. There ain't even a spread for it. That's how you know. They're scared.
FSU that wants Bama.
Yeah.
FSU wants Bama.
On the CW network, baby. Everyone's favorite network.
I'm surprised people even watch that. I feel the only show that I feel like that's probably worth a crap on the CW network is I forgot what the show's called, but it's actually pretty good.
What the hell is the CW network doing? I know that they had bought the rights to NXT, which is a wrestling show, and then the NWA also, and then college football. Like, what the fuck are y'all trying to do?
This is like when
the CW network.
This is like when Nickelodeon does NFL games, especially during the playoffs. It's just like one of those things that just kind of
at least
happens.
When Nickelodeon started doing NFL games, at least we had some funny moments from it, like when an NFL player dropped an F-bomb live on Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I'm going to say this. I actually think it's genius if you want to get kids into the game.
Yeah. Oh, trivia for y'all. Who was that guy who said the F-bomb during that Nickelodeon?
I think wasn't it Cordero Patterson?
It was Cordell Patterson. Representing the Volunteers.
Josh Dobbs is carrying the volunteer spirit on.
If there was any way to describe what we saw on a Saturday, Cordell Patterson would have described it perfectly. Anyway, let's move on to this one. 7:00. This is a very fun game to watch. Number 25. Well, the rankings on these two teams are going to change, but Kansas State and Kansas. I'm interested to see how this one plays out, fellas. I gotta say that Kansas State, they're 8-point favorites. Who do y'all think is gonna come out?
Ain't this game called like the Sunflower Showdown or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think what is it that, and then I think Iowa State in Kansas is called the Farmageddon or something like that. No, Iowa State someone.
Yeah. Well, Kansas State, even with Kansas' season last year, Kansas State has just always put the whooping on the Jayhawks. But now it's at home. Kansas came off a tough loss to Texas Tech, but now they have a chance to redeem their season against Kansas State. I'm very interested to see if the Jayhawks get the dub here. What do y'all think?
Yeah, give me the Jayhawks. I think they bounce back.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. I'm picking Kansas, and I'm not going to put on the shirt. We don't have enough time for that.
But Lance Leipold, that was another one I forgot to mention in the Texas A&M hot board.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Oh, so this is probably one of the more important games, probably the most important game of the week. Number 5, Washington, undefeated, 10-0, going on the road to play Oregon State. I cannot understand why College Game Day is going to James Madison rather than showing up for this one right here, because this is upset alert of the season right here. If Oregon State gets this win, it completely flops the Pac-12 on its back. So, and Oregon State, get this, Oregon State is favored to win the game They are 1.5-point favorites against an undefeated Washington. That's the craziest thing I've seen in a long time.
What about if Oregon State wins out and wins the championship? Do you think they have a chance to make the playoff?
No, but it does eliminate the Pac-12 from the playoff, just like every other year. But who do y'all have winning this game?
You know what? Give me Oregon State. It seems like I've been taking most of the home teams anyway, so yeah, give me Oregon State.
Yeah, give me Oregon State. They play good at home. The only reason I said what if Oregon State wins out, because they would have to beat Oregon next week also.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
at
right.
that point, and they would practically borderline top 5, and then they would also be a champion.
Yeah, no, they wouldn't be top 5. It would take all the other top-tier conference teams to get upset in order for that to happen, I think. But
Yeah, well, I think they'd be pretty close because, I mean, heck, they had beaten 5, and then they would also have beat, Oregon, who's 6, and then probably or 5, depending on if they won the game.
perchance. But yeah, I'm gonna take the upset. Give me Washington to get the win. And yes, it is technically an upset because Oregon State's a 1.5-point favorite. Y'all knew something smart ass like that was coming from me. Anyway, on to the next game, Florida and Missouri. The only reason this one's important is because Billy Napier is looking for that win to get him the bowl eligibility. But now with their last 2 opponents being this game and then Florida State, what are the odds? What are the odds that happens?
Yeah, not very likely.
Yeah, I'm taking Missouri.
Knowing Florida, they'll probably fucking beat Missouri.
That won't.
Of course.
No, I'm taking Mizzou.
No, I'm just saying that because Tennessee couldn't beat Missouri, so then Florida will go out and fucking do it.
I'm gonna be so pissed off if that happens. But anyway, yeah, give me
But I
Mizzou.
think more than likely Mizzou. Yeah, give me Mizzou.
Yeah, right.
I'm just saying. I was just saying, like, it would just be the most Tennessee thing to get fucking butt fucked by Missouri and then just have
and then just
Florida
have that
win.
happen, right? Yeah. So, but anyway, Mizzou, get the win so you don't make us look stupid. All right. Anyway, let's see. Is this one even worth talking about? Kentucky and South Carolina. Kentucky going on the road to play the Gamecocks. If South Carolina loses another game, they aren't going bowling, so they need to beat Kentucky and then beat Clemson as well. Both those games at home. So, what do y'all think? Do you think they're going to pull it off? Sounds like
Nah. I mean, maybe, but I think I'll take Kentucky.
I think since you're taking Kentucky, I'll take South Carolina.
I'm taking the Cox as well. They play better at home, and it's a night game at home. So
is it a night game?
Yeah, at home.
I didn't see the time. Yeah, fucking give me South Carolina. Then it's a night game.
Yeah. All right. Most of these games, I'm expecting similar results, big dominating wins. So, Evil Twin's gone MIA in the most non-shocking fashion ever. He does this all the time.
What about Tulane? Tulane's 9-1.
Yeah, 9-1, Schmine-1. I don't really care.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I'm gonna try and get a hold of Evil Twin. I'm gonna switch over to the Georgia-Tennessee game, fellas. Obviously, with how bad that last game was against Missouri, what are the odds that we could find a way to beat Georgia this week?
I mean, I guess 30.7% according to ESPN.
Yep. Let's see. Georgia's coming in as a 10.5-point favorite, and that's kind of us considering how both teams have looked. Georgia absolutely annihilated Ole Miss last week, and it just looks like there aren't many weaknesses to be found with Georgia. If there's any weakness to be found, it's that Georgia has a tough time kind of stopping the run on occasions. But once they switch to stopping the run, they pretty much eliminate whoever they're playing. So there aren't many weaknesses to be exploited with Georgia. They're a really well coached team, and they're also an offense that doesn't run only 4 plays. So I don't really know what to say here, fellas. I mean, usually we kind of look at, how things are going to play out, between both quarterbacks, kind of look at the matchups. But when it comes to matchups, whenever you look at offense, defense, Georgia just dominates this game in every facet of every matchup. Because I think other than the run game, Georgia dominates in every category. I think they have the better quarterback situation, the better offense overall, better defensive backfield, better defensive line. They aren't really nearly as screwed with injuries as Tennessee has been. They're getting Brock Bowers back for this game. They had him last game, and he dominated. It's just there is not a lot of things lining up in Tennessee's favor. And unlike some Tennessee content creators, I'm not going to sit here and pump sunshine and tell you that Tennessee is going to go into this game with a legitimate chance of winning. There's 2 ways this game could go. The one way, okay, you know what? No, I'll save that for later. Lucas and Julio, I want you guys to give your legitimate thoughts on this game, score prediction, whichever you want to, give your thoughts on. And in the meantime, I'm going to try and grab a hold of Evil Twin.
Julio, you can go first.
42-24 Georgia. I'm sorry.
Well, for this game, of course, I'd obviously love for Tennessee to win, but let's be honest, we're probably not going to win. Georgia's, of course, just a much better team. Squidtard's Evil Twin left. But yeah, Georgia will probably dominate this game. All I gotta say is for Tennessee fans, you might as well just go ahead and buy your basketball jerseys, because I'm not gonna lie, I probably need to go buy a Don't Connect jersey. But yeah, if I had to go score prediction on this one, I'd probably go Georgia 42, Tennessee, I guess 17.
Yeah, that's about what I said too. Also, the other thing, the only way I could see us winning this is like fucking Dolly Parton somehow abuse her magic and we just fucking turn to a completely different team.
The only way I can see us winning this game is, of course, if Georgia, somehow underestimates us and plays down to their competition,
which doesn't happen much. Like if it's something like the Missouri game last year, like if they play like the Missouri game last year, then I feel like we have a chance. But I don't really foresee that happening. And the only reason I would say that if they play the way they played against Missouri last year, they will more than likely lose, because I feel like we definitely have a better environment than Missouri. But it's just, and someone's like, oh well, you just lost Missouri, on the road, but Tennessee doesn't play good on the road, so.
I don't know. For obviously for us to win this game, we need Joe Milton to play a good game. But
yeah, but I don't. And like I said, I don't foresee that happening. But I mean, Joe Milton. Other than that pick 6 against Missouri, I feel like he didn't really play bad. Like they just couldn't get anything going rushing game.
I've got a lot to say. So, have you guys finalized your thoughts?
Yeah,
that's.
Okay. I just want to make sure you guys were, you didn't have anything else, because I'm going to probably, this tangent I'm about to go on. I'm not going to make it nearly as long as my video, but of course there is some definite things I need to touch on. I see this game going one or two ways. Julio, you said it right before this, but you said that Joe Milton didn't have a bad game overall. And a lot of Tennessee fans do that. And it's not like, I'm saying you're a big, dumb, stupid idiot or anything like that for saying that, of course. I mean, you look at the stats on paper, and Joe Milton was, I think he was 22 of 34, 275 yards. Not a bad game when you look at it on paper. Now, I want you guys to take a guess. Percentage-wise, how many of those passes do you think were behind the line of scrimmage to the sideline?
I would probably say a good amount of them. other than I think we had the one big pass play to Thornton.
Well,
Yeah.
I can assure you, those pass plays, at least 70% of those pass plays were passes to the sideline, and everyone in this room could make that pass happen. I could sit here right in my room, get a football, and do that pass play. Yeah, Lucas could do it right there. He could literally do that exact same thing. Anybody in the nation could do that. Anybody can. So it's not impressive that anybody can, do that. And that's a lot of Tennessee's play style. Now, again, going back to this game and going back to the specifics, I see this game going one of two ways. I have seen throughout the entirety of the season Tennessee make absolutely zero adjustments, whether that's on the run game, on the passing game, nothing. They have made zero adjustments on offense. And for a majority of the entire time they've been playing, except if it's against teams like UConn when they're up by 40 points, Tennessee has done the exact same 4 plays trying to play not to lose. It's a run up the middle, a screen play to the sideline, a deep bomb that never usually connects, or it's a Joe Milton designed run. It's one of these 4 things that they know Joe Milton can do. Everything else, they take it and throw it to the wayside, say screw it, doesn't matter, and they move on, and they never come back to it unless they just really think that the game's over. And I have a feeling, and of course we all know this by now, the only reason, there's only one of 2 reasons why they're doing that. One is because we have the worst offensive minds in the country and they need to be fired yesterday, and I don't think that's the case, which I do think, but what I do think is the case though, is that these coaches are scared of Joe Milton. They're scared of his passing ability. They do not think he's Hendon Hooker. They do not think he has the decision ability necessarily to be able to make those pass plays happen. Even the short slant routes, they don't think he has the decisions to do that. And of course, the question I've been asking all week is why in the world, when you're in that position and this is all you can do and you know your offense sucks and why are you not doing anything about it? And what I'm saying when I'm saying doing something about it is why have you not started another quarterback? Specifically Nico, who you paid $8 million for to come in and play for you. You paid $8 million for this true freshman to come in and play at Tennessee, and you aren't even taking advantage of it. Instead, what you're doing is sitting back, doing the exact same 4 plays, and not being able to score a damn point against Missouri. It's pathetic. So I see this game going one of 2 ways. If we continue to do the exact same thing we've been doing all year long with the same exact 4 plays, this game might be close at halftime. Maybe even, I think this game at most would be close at halftime, but I can guarantee you this, and I'm willing to put money on this. The score at the end of that game, Tennessee will lose by more points than they did in the 41-0 blowout in 2017. I'm willing to put money on that. That's how sure I am that if Tennessee comes out with that exact same offensive game plan from the last 10 games, that we are going to get blown out far worse than anything we've ever seen before. Georgia will win this game by 42 points or more if we come out with that exact same game plan. However, if they come out with a different game plan, start a brand new quarterback, whether that's Nico or they decide to take a chance with either Navy Schuler or whoever the other guy, Gaston Moore or something else, and they decide that they're going to do the exact same, or they're going to try and do what they did with Hendon Hooker, or they're just going to go out and try to win the game and do a lot of different things that they didn't do in any of the games before, I feel like this game will be a lot closer than that. I feel like this game will be an actually fun one to watch, and Tennessee will actually look like a very decent team. And everybody will be wondering, where in the world did this Tennessee team come from? Why is this Tennessee team suddenly so good? Your answer, because we're not hiding our offense anymore, and we don't have a quarterback that the offensive coordinator and these offensive coaches are scared to let onto the field and do stuff with. So I think, like I said, this game goes either one or 2 ways. One, we do the same exact thing we've been doing and lose in the worst imaginable way possible. Or 2, we do a different thing and maybe, just maybe, if all the cards line up, find a way to win the game. I don't expect it to happen. I'm not calling for it to happen. I'm not betting any sort of money on that happening. But I think if Tennessee comes out, starts Nico, prepares for the future, the worst you'd be doing in this scenario is preparing your starting freshman quarterback that is going to be starting next season. The worst thing you'd be doing is preparing him for the future. I've been hearing people say, well, what if he gets injured? Well, everybody has a chance to get injured. It's not just a quarterback thing. Why are we playing so scared? Why are all these Tennessee fans suddenly so scared to let Nico out on the field when they were chanting for him to be on the field a couple of weeks ago? It doesn't make any sense. So what I'm saying here is the same thing that I've been saying for a lot of the games this season, is that we need to take a chance and we need to start this true freshman and we need to give him some playing experience, get him some playing time, prepare for next year. And hopefully, if all the stars line up, maybe we'll find a way at the end of it to get a huge win over an undefeated Georgia team. I'm not calling for it. I'm willing to bet Tennessee loses this game. But I promise you this: if we trot out Nico onto the field and let him play with the style of offense that we want him to play all season, and they trust him, I guarantee you this would be a whole lot better than what we do if we did the exact same thing over and over again, because it will not take long for Georgia to find out exactly what we're doing, and they will shut it down every single time. Every single time, without fail. So please, for everything that is lovely and whole on this channel and everywhere else, as a Vol fan, please make the right decision. And I'm sure you know which one that is.
Yeah, the only thing is, I think Heupel's trying not to burn his red shirt for some reason, which I don't understand the logic
Heupel
with.
said
because...
Heupel said before the season began that he wasn't redshirting Nico, so that's been debunked.
Well, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't know. I thought maybe he just didn't want to burn the red shirt because he's only played in 3 games.
I thought that initially as well, but I looked it up, but he said that he wasn't redshirting Nico, so we've debunked that. But, so, yeah, no excuse for that. No excuse for and now after that big blowout against Missouri where Joe Milton, threw that pick 6 and everything else, and they obviously don't trust him, there's got to be a change. There's got to be a change. And Joe, it's not like they have anything else to figure out from Joe Milton. It's not like if we just give him a little bit more time. He's been in college for 6 years. 6 freaking years. Yep. And he looks just as the exact same as the day he arrived on campus 3 years ago. Not a difference. So don't sit there and tell me that we still need to figure out some things about Joe. We figured out everything we need to know. He's inaccurate. He can't make decisions like Hendon Hooker did. He can't throw, he's overthrowing receivers, and the only thing we can say about him at this point in time that's actually really good is he can throw a football 98 yards. Great, that's awesome. I can't name another quarterback that can throw a football down the field 98 yards. Jaden Daniels can't do that, but is everybody talking about Jaden Daniels being a bad quarterback? Absolutely not, because Jaden Daniels is out there balling, and he knows how to make good decisions with the football. And he has a coaching staff that trusts him. And if they didn't trust him, where do you think he'd be right now? The bench. The same goes for... And you look at what happened with Nick Saban. You think Nick Saban, if he were in the situation and watching Joe Milton do what he's doing, you think Nick Saban would sit there and go, well, aw shucks, fellas, I guess we're just screwed now. No. And I know that for proof because he already did it. If he had that Josh Heupel game plan, I guarantee you they'd have one less national championship because Georgia would have beaten them in 2017. You want to know why they didn't beat him? Because he saw how bad Jalen Hurts was performing in that game, and instead of sitting there and going and just looking around going, well, golly gee, I guess it's all over for us. We just can't do anything. No, he took Jalen Hurts, sat him down, and started, get this, a true freshman quarterback with little playing experience, Tua Tagovailoa. And what did Tua go out there and do? He balled out. I'm not saying that Nico's going to go out there against Georgia and ball out, but it's certainly a whole lot better than sitting on your butt and just letting all these players pass you by, letting all the days pass you by, and giving your true freshman quarterback you paid $8 million more zero experience. Coaches have, as you can tell, gotten a little bit under my skin. Just a little bit perturbed. Just a little bit perturbed, I will say that. All right, fellas.
Who are you, Carolina Jackpot?
Yeah, maybe I am. I feel like it right now. Before we go ahead and wrap this thing up, I want to check the live chat, see if anything else is going on. Doesn't look like it, so we'll go ahead and I guess we'll go ahead and wrap the show up, fellas. I think we've wrapped up everything we need to. Although I do need to ask, Lucas, did let me check. The Lady Vols win?
Yeah, they won.
All right. Well, how about that? Shout out to the Lady Vols basketball team, been playing hard. What did they win by?
They won. I think they won by 10.
All right. Good stuff. You love to see it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to the Lady Vols. Wait, so they won by 10? Last I checked, they were only up by... It was like tied with 2.5 minutes left to go. Wow.
Oh, yeah, they won by 10.
Well, how about
Let's
that?
see. Yeah, in overtime, they outscored Memphis 15-5.
Whew! All right. Well, how about that? If the Lady Vols continue to get hot, you better watch out for them. They're on a streak right now, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, they won by... Yeah, you're right. They won by 10. All right. Yeah, they play Troy on Sunday, so we'll see how that plays out. And then they go on the road to a number 18 Indiana. They play, they played 4 ranked teams in a row. Ooh,
Wow.
out of conference.
One thing I will say about Kelly Harper, she's definitely not afraid to play good teams.
That's true. So nobody can say that we've played nobody.
Yeah, it boosts our resume, so...
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people look at Kelly Harper's record and like, oh, well, she's bad. Which I will say that I feel like she definitely can do better. But I feel like her record's a lot worse than what it says because, one, you got to face South Carolina every year. So that's almost always a loss. And then, of course, she schedules, all those ranked teams every year. So that also doesn't help.
Right. All right, fellas. Well, I feel like we've wrapped this thing up pretty well. You guys have any finalizing thoughts? Of course, with it being Georgia week, please feel free to let everybody know how you feel about the Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, I guess just go Vols and screw Georgia, man. Hopefully we pull off the upset this Saturday. I mean, they play the games for a reason. We technically, of course, have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, it's not very likely. But you know what? You never know.
Yeah, Julio?
You never know.
Julio, what about you?
Same thing for me. I don't really foresee it happening, but, fuck Georgia and go Vols.
Yep. I got a couple of words for you, Georgia. Something along the lines of M-I-C-K-E-Y M-O-U-S-C. That's what you are. Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. You guys are a bunch of Mickey Mouse fans. Mickey Mouse championships. You got 2 of them. That's why Mickey Mouse has 2 ears to represent your 2 Mickey Mouse rings that you got. You're a Mickey Mouse program. Mickey Mouse fan. And another thing. How about the Lubots, man? These people, I've been wanting to go off on these people for a long time now. These people are the biggest clowns on the internet. Not specifically Uncle Lou, but more the Lubots. Tennessee's the most important game of the season. It's their most important game of the entire century.
Yeah.
It is. You go back to all their games last season. Even after they won the national championship, who were they thinking of? Tennessee. They were wanting to tell Tennessee all about it. I guarantee you, Tennessee is their most important game of the entire season because that's all they talk about. When you
we're their Super Bowl.
When you have a college football channel representing the Georgia Bulldogs, and you have an official store, and you have more Tennessee merch than you do Georgia merch, go on his merch channel right now. Go on UncleLou.com and see for yourself. He's got more Tennessee shirts than Georgia shirts. That's
I'm
that's
looking
not
it up
legitimate.
right now.
That's legitimately concerning. How can you say that Tennessee's not your most hated team and that South Carolina is? Not talk about South Carolina at all. Talk about Tennessee every week and then have more merch about a rival than you do your own team. Craziest thing. That's why Mickey Mouse, that's why these Georgia fans, they're Mickey Mouse fans. They don't even care about their own team. They care more about us than they do anybody else. And the worst part about it is, Georgia, you ain't even going to win your Super Bowl. The Tennessee Vols are going to roll all over you this Saturday. Guarantee it. Put money on it. No, I'm not putting any money on it. But I think Tennessee wins in dominating fashion. Give me the Vols, baby. Go Vols. And you guys got any finalizing words?
Yeah, just go Vols. Screw Georgia. And you know what? If Tennessee does win this Saturday, you best believe I'm going into Uncle Loser's channel, and he's gonna hear it from me all night long.
I'm gonna leave. Yeah, it's gonna be like it's gonna be 2 a.m. and he's gonna get a notification. You have received a voice message from phone number blah 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 blah. Duration 12 minutes. Ha 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 ha! And it's just gonna be ha 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 ha. I'm just gonna laugh for 12 minutes straight, but we'll see how it plays out, fellas. Great show tonight. Great Vol-Star podcast. Check us out next week, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday night. We'll be trying to do this show every single week. Check us out for Vanderbilt week. Don't worry, we got a lot to say about those guys. They're still looking for their first SEC win in over a year. So let's hope for the best this week. Who do they play? Oh yeah, nobody. You guys think they'll beat the bye week?
I think the bye week favored by 5.
Yeah, roughly, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be tough, and I'm pretty sure it's on the road too at the bye week.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you guys again for joining me on the Vol-Star podcast, and thank you guys in the comment section for joining us here. Make sure you check out these boys on Twitter, Lucas Sharp and Julio Rodriguez. Both of their Twitters are in the description below. And make sure you check out Squidtard for further videos. Got my pick'ems coming out hopefully tomorrow. Got my preview video, and then if I feel like it, I'll make a hate video. I'll let you guys know all about that. Thank you guys again for watching, though. I'll see you guys next time. As always, power to Tardaria, and more importantly, go Vols, baby. Let's put a whooping on them Georgia